It's a trap!
What's going on, guys? This is KRAZYKentGamer here, and I just want to give you guys an update on the channel and what's been going on with me. For any of you that still watches my videos, if you're still subscribed to my videos and if you're still pretty much showing me love, thank you so much for the support and showing me love. And I felt like it was time to pretty much give an update. So as of recently, I've been going through a lot of things in my personal life to where I winded up getting a new job, and I actually enjoyed this job, but because of the fact that it's a full-time position, I'm mostly working throughout the days. So I don't really have enough time to upload videos like I used to. And on top of that, that means I barely have enough time to play video games unless like I'm off of work or whether I'm playing them on the weekend when I have nothing to do. So with that being said, there's going to be barely any time for me to upload any videos onto this channel as well as my reading channel, which if you guys haven't been following me on my reading channel, then I'll leave it down in the description below. But while I'm pretty much sitting here making this recording, one thing I actually wanted to let you guys know is that I've been going through a lot of stuff lately, and I've been going through a point where I've always felt like I was worthless, like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to. I pretty much, kept falling back into the same repeating cycle to where when things don't go well, I'm always blaming myself or blaming others, or I get upset and whatnot. And this mostly stemmed from the fact that when I was working at my old job, it made it a lot worse to the point where I felt like I needed to get out of that space, that I needed to change. I needed a fresh new take. And I thought I could find that. And it got worse when I pretty much, was, feeling things and like retaining all the negative emotions and whatnot. And one thing I want to pretty much put out there as a message is that retaining all that you feel and pretty much just holding in all that negativity is not the best thing to do, especially with everything that's going on right now. I understand that things can get hard. I understand that there are things that people probably won't understand about you, but holding all of that stuff in is not going to make anything any better. I don't know if this is making sense to everyone else, but what I mean by holding things in is that I went through years to where I've always felt upset or felt sad or just felt really angry about certain things, and instead of just expressing that or just like writing about it like I would usually do in my journal or poetry like I would whenever I feel upset, I would just hold that stuff in. And whenever I hold it in, it feels like you're holding in like a bubbling water in a kettle. Like the more you hold it in, the more it's going to keep building and building and building until finally it's just going to explode. Or to think of this as a more normal type of thing. Say that you're making some tea, and you pretty much boil the water, you put in the tea, and that is my phone. And you pretty much put in the tea, you put it on the stove, you let it go for a few moments, and then finally as the water builds and builds and builds and builds, and then next thing you know, the tea goes and that's basically me. That's basically what I've always been known to do. That's something that is like a everyday normal type of thing, to where whenever I feel upset or whenever I feel something that I don't feel like talking or feel like expressing it to anybody, I just hold it in, and it just makes it worse for me in the long run. Because whenever it just boils over, I then start yelling, lashing out, and then I pretty much not when I say lashing out, I don't mean like throw a punch or whatever. I'm not the one that throws the first punch. I'm not gonna do that. It's more along the lines of me just yelling and screaming, and that's about as much as I can do. And I always try to have this perfectionist type of mindset to where everything has to be perfect. I have to have the perfect relationship. I have to have the perfect life. I have to have the perfect style, perfect everything. And that's basically my mindset for the longest time. And it took me a while to realize that that mindset is literally what's been tearing me down from the longest now. And it's just what's been putting me on a depressional type of state. And whenever you have that perfectionist mindset, it drains you because you're working harder than ever to try to make sure that your life is perfect, that you have the perfect friendship, that everything in your life is like keeping from falling apart. And that only makes it worse on you because then you wind up stressing yourself out because, oh my God, this phone, because you wind up stressing yourself out to the point where everything is not so perfect, to the point where everything is just going to just keep caving in on you, to the point where you're just tired all the time. Like, not even just physically, I mean mentally and emotionally. You're tired. You're tired of like doing everything you possibly can to make sure things go your way. You're tired from making sure that your friends and everyone else around you are happy all the time, or making sure that you have the perfect friendship or the perfect relationship. You're making sure your significant other doesn't have a reason to leave you. And then when you think everything's going fine, you don't really take a look at what other people feel or see how they feel, and then next thing you know, it just puts out a negative effect on them, because it's like now you're just pretty much putting them through a phase where you're smothering them, or where you're pretty much at that point where you're pushing them away because of how hard you're trying. Like it's like you're pretty much trying to keep them, like you're keeping a bird in a cage basically. And that's what I never really understood at that point, was that, you know, that sometimes not everything has to be perfect. Not every relationship has to be perfect. Not every friendship has to be perfect. It's just one of those things to where if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. If it doesn't work out, then it's no issue to just walk away from it. And this is something I had to learn the hard way. And I wanted to get it out there because I'm not trying to make somebody look bad. I'm not trying to be like, an ass, but I was in a situation multiple times to where I always value the other person above myself. That's just the type of person I am. If it's a cold winter day and if you don't have a jacket, I'm giving you my jacket. I would rather I catch a cold than you catch a cold. The same thing with my own family. Like if they wind up being cold or whatever, I give them my last jacket, and then I just sit there and freeze while they're feeling warm. You know what I'm saying? That's just the type of person I am. I'm a giver. You know what I'm saying? I care, but then next thing you know, I care too much. Is the problem, because every once in a while I wind up getting into a relationship where I think, oh, this person's great, this person's wonderful, this person's this, that, and the other thing, and then anything just goes off the hitch, or just shit hits the fan, and then next thing you know, something goes wrong, and then next thing you know, I do too much to fix it, and I try way too damn hard to fix it, to the point where it's like, it's getting to the point where it's like not even like out of caring, it's out of desperation. All right. And you don't want to get to that point where you feel desperate enough to save something. If it was meant to fall apart, then let it fall apart and then just build it back up again. Just don't try to glue it all together at once, because then next thing you know, you're going to wind up disappointed at the end results. Just if it was meant to stand the test of time, it will stand. And, if the relationship or the friendship or whatever, if it was meant to pretty much be there, it will be there. But if it's not, and if it's going to fall apart, then just let it fall apart. There's always going to be a new opportunity and a new person to get along with. But I never learned that, because I pretty much have really bad abandonment issues from the people I lost, from the people that I pretty much I ended friendships with, from the people that I pretty much ended in relationships and never even spoke to ever again. It's just like a really, really, really really stressful ordeal. And I know a lot of people are going through that. And I know there's a lot of people right there pretty much saying, oh, I wish I could have done this to fix this. I wish I could have done that to fix that, this, that, and the other thing. Just, just sitting there contemplating on what they could have done differently to save that friendship or that relationship or whatever, what they could have done differently. And this is what I've been going through for a while now. But then it's like, you think about all of that, but when do you find the time to sit down and just tell yourself, you know what? I tried. I didn't succeed, but I tried. And that's better than doing nothing. Because what you don't realize is that even when you feel like you didn't do anything to pretty much save whatever it was that you were trying to save, at least you pretty much have enough strength to tell yourself you tried. Because like I said, not everything lasts forever. And time will always tell who your true friends are or who you truly meant to be with. And it could be years before somebody will find the perfect person and whatnot. But, you still got your whole life to live through, You still got your whole life to live through, and you can still do what you love doing until that day comes. I've been trying too hard to find something that wasn't meant to be with certain people, to the point where not only do I get frustrated, and not only do I get depressed or sad when it doesn't really work out, but then I get to the point where I just feel like I'm not good enough for anybody. But then it's always, I'm not good enough for this person. I'm not good enough to be this. I'm not good enough to be that. But then it's like I wind up asking myself the question one day, when am I ever going to be good enough for myself? And that was when I started to learn more about myself. I started to learn how to take care of myself more. I started to learn how to love myself more. I started to learn how to be myself and not be something that somebody wants me to be. Not be a provider, not be somebody who always pretty much gives people stuff, not be the giver, not be the whatever the hell anybody expects you to be. Just be who you want to be. Be a certain image of yourself that you see. And I never saw myself as anything up until now. And now that I felt so much better. All the stress has been lifted off me. I don't really sit in depression. I don't literally cry in silence, because yes, men do cry. There's nothing wrong with that. That's called being human. I don't literally hold in my emotions, and now I'm pretty much being more open and honest with people, and just being just me, just down to earth, just being real with people, because I'm tired of the fake shit. You don't have to pretty much build yourself in a certain image in order to make other people feel better, especially if it doesn't make you feel better. Because loving yourself is the most important thing. It's not all about, give you an example. Say you're in a relationship with somebody, and this is a person that you really, really like. But then that person starts telling you to change certain aspects about you. Change your clothes, change your hair, change your makeup, change what shoes you wear, change your clothes, change everything about you, change your style, change what makes you you. And that was at the point where it was this person doesn't love me for who I am, how I dress, doesn't love me for my own certain style or how I look. Maybe this person is not the person for me. This was something that I should have realized, or I should have told myself when it happened, because this person, and this was years ago, this person literally chastised me about everything, from the music I listened to my clothing, to everything about me. That was the moment that literally just broke me, because I did everything I could to help this person, I did everything I could to show love to this person, and this person acted like a spoiled brat and just shattered me. Shattered me to the point where it was hard for me to put the pieces back together again. It hurt. It really, really hurt. And nobody should ever have to go through that. Nobody should ever have to feel through that. Whether you're a man or a woman, no one should ever, ever have to feel bad about who they are, how they dress, or the type of person they are. Because if that person loved you to begin with, they would accept you for who you are. And since then, ever since that happened, I changed a great deal. I literally haven't been myself for the longest, and it took me a long time, like 4 years, to finally figure out who I was. It took me 4 years to finally build myself back up. It took me 4 years to love myself for who I am and to be the person I wanted to be again. It took me that long because that was how deep the damage was, how severe it was. And I know there are plenty of people that are going through that right now. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to let someone tell you how to feel. You shouldn't let anybody or anything dictate on how you want to live your life or how you pretty much want to be in life. So people are going to make fun of you for it. So people are just going to criticize you for it. So people are just going to talk about you behind your back about it. So fucking what? It's life. If people are going to spend the rest of their life talking about you or making you feel bad about something that you can't control or a style that you choose, then that's their fault. That's their problem. Because they had a choice to live their own life, but they choose to waste it and waste that time to talk about you. So you shouldn't have to sit there and just listen to what everyone else got to say. You should listen to what your own voice has to say, your inner voice. Something I should have been listening to and just now listening to. And now I feel so much better now and feel a lot more healthier now because of that. Because going down the path I was, my health was declining badly. Like to the point where I just was sick on the regular. It was that bad. Like it was like I barely was eating, or I was pretty much like, you know, just not keeping up with myself. And now that I finally have, I feel so much better. And I still have people around me who still support me and still love me and still to this very day love what I do. And that's a great feeling. It really is. So if you could take everything out of this video, out of this update, from what I was going through, is that there times can be hard. It can be stressful. It can be painful. And sometimes you may have to lose somebody in the process. But if it's a means to help yourself and to help yourself grow and to be a better person in the long run, then it's worth it. It truly is worth it. Because it's better for you to cut out the ones who are going to drag you down or remind you of something, of a past that you're trying to walk away from, than to just sit there and live in that dark headspace and just blame yourself for the rest of your life for things that you can't control or things that you've already pretty much apologized for. So, with that all being said, I'm going to be trying my best to put up more videos. It's going to be a lot difficult. Mostly gameplay videos for the long run. And I'm going to try and work on more gaming reviews as well. Also, I'm going to be working on book reviews for my other channel. Make sure you check that out as well. And I want to say thank you so much for the support. All 400 subscribers, thank you so much for the support. And thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you to everyone who has been pushing me up until this point. Thank you guys so much. And with that being said, I'm Crazy Kent, and I'm out. Peace.